휴식을 취하던 방을 묵상하세요.
Let
문고
us
열고
try to open this
열어야지.
safe.
문고 열어야지.
This safe can be cracked. I only have to pay attention. The dial will vibrate when it is set to the correct number.
어? 여거다. 여거. 오케이. 뭐가 있을까? 의료 소견서. 유스터스경 육체 및 정신 건강에 심히 우려되는 바입니다. 간장 대상부전의 증세를 확인했습니다. 진찰 결과 두 눈은 충혈되고 피부는 누렇게 뜬 상태였습니다. 숨결에 낙취가 섞여 있었는데 이는 간이 손상되었음을 의미합니다. 간이 손상되면은 숨에서 악취가 나? 폐농약. 역시 의심되는 상황입니다. 최근에 다리에서 일어났던 경련은 잦은 알코올 섭취로 신경계에 문제가 생겼다는 신호입니다. 발작이 발생할 수도 있습니다. 진한 검사를 통해 간이 딱딱해지고 있다는 사실을 확인했으며 이는 간경화 때문으로 추정됩니다. 부풀어 오른 위 주변으로 복수가 차올랐습니다. 왼쪽 갈비뼈의 고통은 췌장질환으로 인한 현상이고 거의 종합병원인데? 급성 췌장염으로 발전할 경우에는 치명적일 수 있습니다. 여타 환자들보다 훨씬 심각한 상태입니다. 과다한 알코올을 섭취한다면 자가 조절 능력이 떨어지며 폭력적인 성향이 두드러질 겁니다. 다양한 치료법을 준비해뒀으니 제가 치료를 전담하도록 하겠습니다.
It is common practice to keep one's valuables in a safe behind a painting. It should not really pose a challenge for a criminal. Antique coins, possibly of value, but they're scattered without care.
부인은 알고 있는가 이 사실을?
What a horrible thing to...
부인이 아니구나.
Sir Eustace's doctor speaks of his violent behaviour.
Yes, Sir Eustace was an extremely violent man. A detestable human being, to be more precise. It is true that he once threw a decanter at me, and all because I dared to stand up to him in defence of my mistress. Sly devil. God forgive me that I should speak of him so now that he's dead, but a devil he was, if ever one walked the earth. We met him only 18 months ago. She'd only just arrived in London. Yes, it was her first voyage. She'd never been from home before. Wonder with his title and his money and his false London ways. If she made a mistake, she has paid for it, if ever a woman did. She doesn't have any friends here, so it was especially hard for her.
두 명이 한패처럼 보이는데? 선원 출신, 이거 했던 거잖아. 다 두 개씩 얽혀있네.
Oh, what a hor...
신문을 누구한테 해야 하는 거야?
Please leave my Mary alone.
얘한테 해야 돼?
What do you know about Sir Eustace, Inspector? What was his reputation?
A charming man when sober, but an absolute demon when he was drunk. In such moments he was apparently capable of anything. Why, once he splashed fuel on Lady Brackenstall's dog and set it
아우,
alight.
뭐야. 미친놈
Another day he
아니야?
threw a decanter of wine at Miss Wright's head.
The alcohol seemed to madden him.
To the point that we were forced to intervene several times to avoid a scandal.
아내를 폭행했다. 또 있어. 끝이야? 이들 뭔가 실험도 하고 그러겠지? 여기 밑에 보자. 이게 더 그럴 수도 있겠는데? 찌꺼기 싫으니까 한쪽에 옮겼을 수도 있잖아. 살해 동기는 도둑질이다. 살해 동기는 용의자 사태가 진정되면 은식기를 회수하겠다는 계획을 세웠다. 위장범 문제. 누군가 유스터스 경의 살해 원인을 강도 사건으로 위장시켰다. 은식기는 일부러 숨겨졌었다. 아내가 의심스러운데. 랜드 일단 소행이 아니다. 모든 증언은 랜드 강도당 유스터 경을 살해에 따른 정황을 만들기 위한 거짓말이었다. 랜드 강도당 증거와 증언에 따르면 용의자는 랜드 강도당. 얘라고 와. 잠깐만. 불행한 사고. 유스터스 경은 우연히도 쇠살 때에도 위로 넘어져 죽음을 맞이했다. 장난? 무식경이 얻어맞아 사망했다. 한 볼될 정도 누르면 무식경이지. 한방에 연결돼. 런던엔 지인이 없다. 블랙큰스톨 부인은 영국에 도착한 직후 유스터스 경과 결혼했다. 이후에는 바깥 생활을 자제한 편이다. 블랙큰스톨 부인과 하녀 테레사가 영국에서 지인이 생겼을 가능성이 희박하다. 선원과의 인맥. 블랙큰스톨 부인은 지브롤터 바위 선원과 아는 사이였고, 뭐야? 살인을 저지른 방문자. 어릴 밤 저택에서 방문한 사람이 유스터스 경을 살해하고 하긴 했는데, 맞긴 했는데, 이제 위장범죄. 선원수대. 어젯밤 저택을 방문한 사람이 분명 선원일 것이다. 오, 좋아. 뭔가 되네 이제. 서재에서 선원 출신 용의자에 대해 조사하십시오. 서재에 또 그런 것도 있어? 토빈 이제 들어가야지. 지브롤터 바위 1893년 블랙큰스톨 부인과 하녀 딸 승선에서 한 바. 이거는 저번에 보니까 신문기사가 1893년 있네. 선박 지브롤터 바위 도착하다. 선박의 귀환. 애들레이드, 사우샘프턴, 런던. 노선. 런던 제임스가 커나드 빌딩에 위치해 화물선 지브롤터 바위가 인도, 뉴질랜드, 호주를 거치는 6개월간의 항해 끝에 런던으로 돌아왔다. 호주에서 대지와 광산을 소유 중인 프레이저 가문의 상속녀 마리 프레이저 역시 런던에 도착했다. 마리 프레이저 영애는 켄트주의 부인 유스터스 브레스트스.
Here it is. The shipping company, the Adelaide, Southampton, London line, and its address. Interesting. It must be the place where they keep the records, including the one for the crew of the Rock of Gibraltar.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard, they'll give it to you without any problems.
But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
베이커 유혹대 심부름, 지브롤스터. 아, 이거 또 애들한테 시키는 거구나. 위겐스. 아이고야.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
I need a register, my young friend. If you could borrow it, there will be half a guinea for every one of you. I need the crew list of the Rock of Gibraltar in
빌려 오래
1894
왜
and their current
쌍따옴표 되는
employment.
거지?
I'm straight on it, Mr. Holmes.
Do you really think they'll find it, Holmes?
My secret police is better than the Yard in many ways.
3시간이 지나고.
Here it is, Mr. Holmes. But we can't take it back. It's too risky.
Put it on the table. I'll take care of it. Good work, young
빌려왔구나.
Wiggins.
진짜 빌려온 거지? 돈 줘야 하는 거 아니야?
I left it right on the table for you, sir.
This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor. And these are the lists of the senior officers of the Adelaide, Southampton, London Line ships. Let us find out who was in London
11월 7일
upon
런던
November the 7th.
11월 7일.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. I do not think that this sailor...
아. 된다.
This
사우스
officer is
와이스.
still at sea,
아씨 뭐야?
therefore he cannot be involved.
똑같은 사람 없애는 건가?
I do not think that this...
아 힘들어.
I do not think that this sailor has any connection to... This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. I do not think that...
아이씨 이렇게 되는 거야? 아이씨. 11월 7일. 다 발견해야 하나 보네. 있다.
This officer was on a ship that sailed...
버트리지.
This officer was on a ship that sailed...
잭 크로커.
Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days.
다른 애들. 아바트 윌링턴.
This officer is still at...
마스 워커.
This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall...
토마스 워커는 어디 있어? 여기 있다.
This officer is still at... Captain Jack Crocker is our mysterious visitor. He was the only one around at the time of the murder.
오케이.
This Crocker, do you think...
It would be interesting to meet him. Our young friend should be able to find him. I can't leave yet. I must talk to Captain Crocker first.
어떻게 하는 건데? 선원 복장으로 해야 하는 거야?
My
What should we do next, Holmes?
Wiggins, could you find a way to bring this Captain Crocker here to us?
Here? Holmes, that could be dangerous.
No problem, Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, I was informed that you were looking for me, and I'd like to know why.
Yes, it is important that we talk. You will soon understand why. You are acquainted with Lady Mary Brackenstall, are you not?
Yes, I think I do remember her, from when I was first officer, but I still don't see...
It seems your relationship went beyond that of mere passenger and first officer.
How dare you?
Indeed, how reckless a feeling is love, particularly if one is prepared to commit a murder in its name.
Explain yourself this instant.
You are aware that the murder made the headlines of the morning press. You read the newspaper report, but to your dismay, found it much fabricated. Once you learned that I wanted to see you, you came straight away. You needed to know what I had found.
You... and what do you know?
That evening, you were with Lady Brackenstall, despite the danger.
I'm not afraid, Mr. Holmes. Besides, all of this is just guesswork.
You would be right if there was no evidence.
What then?
선원용 칼, 깨끗한 장화, 근육질, 단정한 외모, 정직함. 하나가 뭐지? 신문 잉크.
Lady Brackenstall was tied to a chair on the night of the murder. And it was you who tied her up.
You call that evidence?
신문을 읽지 못했다.
Yes, as she was tied with a sailor's knot. Your handiwork.
So, it's a sailor who's done it. That proves nothing, Mr. Holmes. I'm not the only sailor in London right now. Your theory is flawed anyway. On the night of the murder, I was aboard
아닌가
the
보네.
Shark. I was supervising the repair of a porthole.
At night.
It was an emergency. There was a leak. You can ask the ship's carpenter. He can confirm.
I'm sure that he can.
Perfect. In that case,
아,
we
뭐야.
have
잘못한
nothing
것
more to
같은데?
talk about. Good evening, gentlemen.
Holmes, what should we do now? Would you like to check his alibi?
No, there is no doubt that these men will testify in his favor, and there will be no way to check.
So, what then?
So, we must work with what we have. We have all the puzzle pieces.
Now I understand why you dissected the bell rope.
아, 존나 아쉽네. 이대로 끝내기엔 좀 그런데? 만약 알리바이라고 하면 안 맞아. 그럼 서로부터 그게 맞아. 제클록 현장의 범인이다. 사건 당일 밤 유스터스 경은 저택을 방문했던 남자에게 살해당했다. 부인을 구하려다 발생한 사건이므로 정상 잠적의 여지가 있다. 살해범은 키가 크고 재빠르며 고위선언으로 보인다. 폭력하는 그런 걸 구한 건가? 부인이 구하려다 발생한 사건이다. 아이야. 이 사건 애매한데. 셜록 소소하게 하기 재밌어요. 소소한 재미. 셜록 홈즈를 워낙 좋아해서. 이거 참 고민거리를 던져주기보단 고민거리를 늘려주는데 풀어야 하니까. 에이씨, 행복하게 살아라 앞으로.
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here again, please?
Right away.
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
What?
I know because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife. The knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
It is time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. But I never did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again. But it turned into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared
껍질가
raise his hand to
제자극적이었는데?
her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots. Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes.
You would not have managed to protect her.
Till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything clear. And it is the one that should be disclosed to the police. I am the
의리의
only culprit.
남자가
Mary
사랑하는
had
여자를
nothing
위해서
to do with it. Now it is time to end this.
뭐야 씨. 야야야야. 야야야야. 갑자기 왜 자살하려고 그래. 깜짝 놀랐네.
Please forgive me, Captain Crocker. I wished only to test your sincerity, and your words and deeds have far exceeded my expectations. See here, Captain Crocker, we'll do this in due form of law. You are the prisoner. Watson, you are a British jury. Captain Crocker, the evidence shows that you acted without premeditation and used reasonable force to protect an innocent victim from her husband's brutality. Your devotion pushed you to attempt to kill yourself in order to protect the one you love. Now, what say you, gentlemen of the jury?
Not guilty, my
Not
lord.
guilty.
Vox populi, vox dei. You are acquitted, Captain Crocker. So long as the law does not find some other victim, you are safe from me.
Mr. Holmes.
It is a great responsibility that I take upon myself, but I will give Lestrade an excellent lead, and if he can't avail himself of it, I can do no more. Come back to your lady in a year, and may her future and yours justify us in the judgment which we have pronounced this night. Inspector, I'm afraid that the murderers have escaped us.
What? Do you mean to tell me that you failed? Never thought I'd live to see the day.
I mentioned the murderers, not the case. It is obvious that the crime was committed by 3 criminals who cannot be the Randalls.
You really think so?
You only need to find a gang of 3 thugs wandering around. I can
못 잡을 거 아니까
If they exist,
수배하라고 하네.
I'll catch them.
You'll find someone, I have no doubt of it. Goodbye, Inspector.
별로야? 오, 비슷한 생각이 많구만.